Hello there, and welcome back to Botanic Adventures. So last time we got a little further into the Twilight Forest, ended up with various beetle heads. Yeah. So today I want to start actually with the mirror. This one, fairly simple. And the reason I want to start with the mirror is it will let me link one of my mana pools to me. And linking a mana pool to me sounds like a good idea because the flight actually uses quite a bit of mana. Now, let's see, I need another mana pearl. And what else do I need? Living rock and a terra steel. So terra steel's here, and living rock is here. Okay. There we go. Mana mirror. Now I think we just, shift right click, and now it is linked. And basically, even if I now remove the greater band of mana from my inventory, we'll just toss it in here. So if I put both in here, I have no mana bar. But here, if I just have the mirror, I have a full mana bar, indicating we are linked to that pool. So now it should stay full while I fly, of course at the cost of us refilling it from below. But that means while I go around, I have 3 plus 1, 4 mana pools, plus up there 5 mana pools worth of mana, and it is slowly recharging. I will need a better source of mana eventually, but until then, this is a good start. And if I really do run out of mana, I can still have the greater band of mana in my bag here. So that's going to be useful. So there's one other thing I've been looking at, which is the Resolute Iv, and basically what it says is, in the unlikely event I should die, even with all the last stand, it says, at least for one death, all the items which I apply it to will reincarnate with me. And the recipe doesn't seem that bad. Some pixie dust, which is just a mana pearl through the gateway, the elven gateway, vines, and a bottle of ender air. Now, the bottle of ender air is going to be my limiting factor, and the reason it's limited is I only have 11 at present. Actually, let me go get a bunch more, and then we will apply this to some of my armor, swords, and other stuff, like the golden bag of holding. I shall be back. So here we are, enough to make a stack of Resolute Iv, which should last a little while. So the first thing we want to try to put it on is our armor. Has Resolute Iv, perfect. So if we just quickly do this, it should work. If we can do it, I also want to put on my sword, my pick, my shovel, basically everything that I might accidentally lose or need when I come back. And it's cheap enough that it's just not worth worrying too much about. It's almost worth putting on your stack of steak too. So good. So now a bunch of my stuff has Resolute Iv, and should I die, which seems unlikely with the last stand, I will reincarnate with it. Now, it's not everything in here, although I'll have enough that I'll be able to get back on my feet. Obviously, we still have gravestones. Okay, so next thing, I have a project in mind, and it's going to require just a little bit of this. Just a little bit. So, with that teaser, I shall be back shortly. So, I have to admit, that was not nearly enough TNT. So I had to do a bunch of digging manually, but we now have space for the project I want to work on right here, and I'm glad the teleport worked. So before we continue, we're just linking this to the hub there. So that's the return teleport. That's the location set. Oops. And this is the redstone signal. Very good. Okay. So with all that set, and we can, I'll leave it as is for now. So if we stand here, we should go back to the center. And if we walk on here, we return to our cave area here. And this is going to be the Erebus portal room. I'm not quite sure the final decorations, but I think it's going to include some materials from the Erebus, because I like doing that. And once that's done, I will probably seal this little hole to the surface here. So the only way in is going to be from our teleport hub. But the actual location, as you can see, is here in Omega Taiga. Okay. So let's see. I want to go to the Erebus, and it's certainly the hardest portal configuration in this pack that I know of anyway. So the entrance exit to this room is over here. So I think towards this side is where we want the actual portal. I'm going to use the floor here partially. One interesting thing about the Erebus portals, it's a lot more freeform than most other portals. So we don't actually need to make a typical square. We can come out, say a little bit here, and then maybe staircase it to the center again. What did I do on that side? Okay. And one more. And we'll just do that for aesthetics. So that can be our portal. Now it does need to be chiseled stone. So the cobble, not going to do it. By the way, off screen, I added Timeless Ivy to my obsidian chisel here, so we can use it without actually, there we go, stone brick. So I can use it like this without actually taking durability. It's just coming out of my, mana. Sort of like the Botania tools. It does take, it does take more mana per repair than, say, most of our, most of our Botania tools themselves. But it does work, and we are certainly at the point in the game where that's easy enough to do. So that is the frame of the portal. As I said, the shape's fairly freeform, so you could do a standard like nether portal shape, but I wanted something more interesting. The contents of the portal need to be leaves. So leaves it is. We have some nice spruce leaves here. And basically all the inside spaces need to be filled. Go away. And there we go. So that will become the portal. Okay, so now we have some crafting to do. And let me go look at the cheat sheets. Okay, so first we need an offering altar. Okay, so there's our offering altar. Perfect. And I'm going to place this somewhere. Maybe just back here. Okay, so now onto the offering altar, we need to put a diamond, obsidian, and an emerald. And if all goes well, we get one of these, Gaian gem, something like that. Okay, so next what we need is a staff of Gaia, this one, which is the gem, plus some sticks, some gold, some vines. I don't have sticks. Okay, well, fortunately, I do have a little bit of spruce. There we go, sticks. So what was it? It was 3 sticks, the gem, some vines, and it was something else, gold. So there's our staff. Cool. And I'm just going to temporarily put this here, because there's one more thing we need, and that's this keystone over here. So, it looks like most any stone item and 2 vines and obsidian. So it should be easy enough. It would help if I put the obsidian in the center, not some random piece of basalt. I don't even know where I got basalt from. I don't want to know. Off you go. Okay. So now, if we fix my little bit of inventory spam here, we have the keystone, which I think goes here. And then we have the staff, which goes here. And then we have a portal. So, not that horrible, I guess. Let's go check it out. And here we are, another keystone, and, right. Ooh. More interesting is apparently I'm underwater. That's going to make things interesting. So, yes, you may notice a distinct lack of, portal back. And that is exactly why I made the second gem there. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is block off some of this water so we can work here. And I shall be right back. Okay, and at last I have a small dry cell for us to stand in. It's going to take a little work from this to actually get up top, but we can have a safe room, that's okay. So, here we go, another staff. Put it in here. And we should have our portal, and yes, that does successfully give us... and perfect, right back here. So now we have a portal we can go back and forth in. I just need a way to get out of here, where I think we have 2 options. One is elevator blocks, but this is apparently a submerged swamp, so there's a bunch of water right above us here. So I think we're just going to use an entity shifter and find somewhere nice in the Erebus to hang out. So I'm just going to go back to my base and pick up the supplies, and we shall be moving on. Okay, so we're back here. Now I can probably just put right here the shifter, and here can be the return point. So if I shift click here, I'm going to set the coordinates to this spot, And then we can drop down here and put the shifter in place. We can put the lever on it. Uh-oh, forgot something. Now that there's no water on it, we can put the lever on it and turn it on. Now I can fly on out into the main area. Hello. And as I said, we are in the middle of this swamp thing. We have spawners around us, all fun. And welcome to the Erebus. There'd normally be some interesting music on your arrival here. I have that disabled because I usually have the music disabled, and for this I haven't actually found the copyright information to know what rules it goes by. Now you can see we have ores here in the Erebus, like copper right here. Something's shooting at me. Yeah. And we have this underground jungle thingy, which looks like a better place to be hanging out than the swamp, I have to say. Mahogany. Interesting. If no one's home in this log, I'm going to use this as our actual entry point. Don't know who, what, when, how. Okay, so here looks like a safer spot. Emphasis on the I'm going to put down the other entity shifter here. Perfect. We now click on it with that. We shift click here, which will set the new location to this spot. And now we just need to dig under it a little bit. And put our... put that there. Okay, we'll put our piece of rotten wood back over here. Very nice. That'll do nicely. Now, hopefully, when I stand on this, we go back to our room. Perfect. And if I click on here, it should bring us back into the log. So it's here where I want to set my waypoint. Exit. And I'm actually, just in case something goes wrong, going to make another waypoint here and portal. And we're just going to go enabled off, which will mean it won't show up on my, mini-map and such, but we will have it. So now we have successfully entered the Erebus. I feel like this room should be decorated some. Not sure how yet. Oh, I'm in my beam. But yeah. So here we are. So if you did not bring the materials to make the second staff, you would have needed to mine the materials from this dimension. The dimension is intended to be able to be survivable, but it is not a good early game location to be. I'll take the gold. So I'm going to explore a little bit now, see what we get. Ooh, I think this is like glowstone. Just red. Certainly something I want for the room. And as you can see, like the end, not the end, like the nether, there's some ambient light here, and that it's an underground cave world. So, bring you in when I find something. There is stuff to be had. Woo. Was expecting that to happen. Don't think I got anything for it though. And a diamond ore. Always fun. How many did I get? 3? Not bad. Actually, a bunch of them here. Because there's one. There's one. It looks like only veins of one, but... Can I just see another one? Guess not. Oh well. What's this? Ah, and quartz, so we can get Certus quartz here too. Not Certus quartz. Nether quartz. We don't have Certus quartz in this mod pack. And if you didn't catch on, this is a little bit of a buggy mod. Just, you know, a little bit. Scorpion did a good job of catching me out of the air a second ago too. Sorry I missed that on video. So I want some of this stone stuff for building. It looks a little nicer than cobblestone, a little different than stone. And that's probably what a lot of that above ground build will end up being. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm just hollowing out a little bit here. I hear tell this mod's much more interesting earlier on, you know, when guys like that are very painful to deal with. We can head on back. And so I was thinking the walls in this place, at least, should be mostly the Erebus stone. But I want some of these trees in the actual, actually in here. So I'm going to go get some supplies and we'll start decorating this room. Probably start by growing trees and then move on to other things. So I've updated this room some. We have a very empty room, but a very bright room. And now we just need to add some details, I guess. So I have some of the trees. Thinking near here, maybe just a couple of the cypress. I'm going to need a little more. Didn't realize they grew that big. My previous ones were much smaller. Anyway, if it's large, that means I'll get a bunch of saplings. Yeah, most of the times I was getting something closer to that. That might be too cramped. Let's see if we can grow one here. There we go. Then we have the larger mahogany tree, which I think we really have to put, if we can grow it at all. Ah, we can. Good. Cool. Chest fits. So I wanted to make something, and that was the mutated pasture seed. So I'm going to need some pasture seeds and spider eyes. And that'll make a special Botania grass that I think I'm going to grow down here. And hopefully it'll look okay, otherwise we'll swap it for something else. There's some pasture seeds, and here's some spider eyes. One too many. And if we go quickly in a crafting grid, we can make the updated version. So this should just spread, so I shouldn't need to put it everywhere. But by having a few, it'll spread faster even with the watering can. So let's just see. Ooh. Oh right. They have an instant spread-ish thing. Not sure what I think about that particle effect. We'll see in a little bit. And there we go. So what I want to do now is more plant life. I'm not sure how much of it can be these trees and how much might be to be more custom, but we'll deal with that. Well, I think that's going to be it for the bigger trees. We can do some smaller jungle trees in here probably. Those will be less finicky. And we can always just put leaves on the walls and all that fun stuff. So, a little more work. What I want to see is if I can silk touch these blocks. The answer seems to be yes. Because if I can, we can use Carpenters Blocks. Which, of course, I don't have on me. So if we put, the Carpenter's block here, we can, of course, decorate it again with the stone brick. And shift-click a light source into it. And we can do the same stuff with the grass. Any spot painfully dark? No, we look fairly well illuminated. So I do want more grass and stuff here, and the only problem with that is because this is not actual grass we're on, I can't just bone meal the ground. So we're going to have to fetch it elsewhere. So here we are, the Erebus portal room. So one thing to note, you do not want to right-click on this. It'll remove the staff there and turn off the portal, which wouldn't be too bad. I mean, you'd lose the leaves and have to replace the leaves, then replace the staff. Except if it finds other leaves in range first, it won't let you ignite the portal because they don't look like they're in a valid portal. And these other leaves are stuff like this tree, or the original version of it, was in the way, and the original version of this, although it might be okay now with the with the taller tree. But assuming we don't do that, this is the final room. If we do accidentally turn off the portal, some trees might have to be recreated again. Which, now that I know what happened, is not as big a deal. Okay. But, no, that certainly made me slightly rage quit the other week while working on this. The sun, just finished the room and then you break it. Which is one reason for the delayed release of this episode. So, we have the room. Obviously very tall with the trees and these red gem lighting and all of that. We have some vines growing down from the ceiling. If it gets out of hand, we'll put some string in. And otherwise, for the most part, the idea is you come in, you're on this path of randomized stone, and you walk into the portal. If you really need to make another staff, you can use the offering altar here. And I don't know, I think it came out quite nicely. A very unique underground jungle scene here in the overworld, with a combination of our twilight forest cicadas here, and a lot of stuff from the Erebus. So I think that does it for this episode of Botanic Adventures. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like below, and it might encourage me to make my next episode sooner. There is some more I want to do in this world, so I do expect more episodes, but it may be slowing down because I'm also enjoying some other games that may also be joining the channel here. And, well, it's necessary to, mix this up with some other stuff. I'm getting a little burnt out on Minecraft. When I'm playing it, I'm of course enjoying it, but sometimes I need to take a short break. Okay, well, till next time, CZ Terry, logging off. Bye-bye.